There was this call I got about 11 years ago. It was a person with a Kansas accent. They said, "Hi, Rabbi Canner." I said, "Yes." They said, "My name's Scott, and I live in Nakhon, Thailand. It's about an hour flight to Udon Thani, and then it's a 2-hour drive to Nakhon, and he lives in Wanani Wat. I want to come see you. I think I'm Jewish." I said, "Okay, next time you come to Bangkok, come and see me." And he did, and he told me fascinating story that his mother um, had a mother who was an immigrant to the United States of America from Europe. And when the Second World War broke out, Scott's mother's grandmother went to Europe to try and save her family. And she was stuck there and she was killed by the Nazis. And this person who was telling me the story, Scott said, and my mother was very upset at God ever since that. And so she raised us, telling us we're no religion. But I do know that she was Jewish and her mother was Jewish. And as he kept on telling me the story, it actually turned out that his father, Scott's father, had a Jewish mother as well. To make a long story short, I did what every Lubavitcher does when he meets a Jew that just discovered he's Jewish. He was 50 years old at the time. I offered to put on tefillin with him. And I put on tefillin with him, and he told me afterwards he wasn't sure if perhaps he had joined a cult because he had never heard of tefillin. So when he left me, he called another Jew that he knows here in the south of Thailand, in Hua Hin. And he said, "Tell me, what did I do just now? Is this?" And this other Jew who had grown up in New York, he was already 80 years old, said, "No, that's um, standard ritual. And I used to do that right after my bar mitzvah. It's a daily thing. We put on tefillin." So after Scott had put on tefillin, this was a couple of weeks before Pesach, I sent him matzah. The matzah was delivered to him, and it arrived the morning of Pesach, just a few hours before the Seder, some shmura matzah. And that night, they sat around the table and ate matzah. And then he told me, he wants to come to synagogue for a holiday. He would come to Bangkok once a month or so. And then he told me the following. He says, "I think, looking through the list of holidays, I think that the most significant and important holiday to come for is the holiday of Shavuos." And I said, "Why?" I would think maybe he would think Yom Kippur, Simchas Torah. I was thinking, some of the very exciting holidays. But he said, "Well, Shavuos is the holiday where the Torah was given, and basically all the other holidays come out of the Torah. So without getting the Torah, we wouldn't have any holidays. So it must be that the greatest and most enjoyable, most joyous day possible is the holiday of Shavuos. So I think if I'm going to come to a holiday, I'm going to come to the synagogue on Shavuos." And indeed, he came and he had his first calling up to the Torah. Shortly thereafter, he took a Jewish name, Zvulun. And if you want to take a look at him, you can Google Jewish rice farmer in Thailand, and you'll get a beautiful 5-minute clip about a Jew who discovered basically that he was Jewish and what it means to be Jewish at the age of 50 in Thailand, the first time he walked in the first time he ever met a rabbi. And that concept that he instinctively thought about is actually a very true concept. The holiday of Shavuos is joyous and significant and powerful because really everything else comes from that. Our whole religion is based on the Torah, and the Torah is given to us on Shavuos.